I've already made like fucking at least 9 videos that I haven't posted yet. I still have yet to post it. I'm just getting out of a funk, you know. But I have to say, a lot of shit is really, really racist. We just aren't aware of how racist it is. Because, to put it simply, like someone pointed out recently, like, hey, what's that trope in like media where whenever there was an Asian person on screen, they would hit a huge gong and it would make the gong noise. And the running joke was like, it was just like, hey, look, an Asian person, bong, or the dun 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 dun, like that would just play as soon as they. It's like it's funny, but fucked up and still offensive. Some people like it, some people hate it. It's just one of those things where you're like, wow, they were just doing anything back in the day. Like, it's not as bad as when they had, what was his name? Mickey Rooney? I think that's his name. Like, I remember people were like, hey, to me, you should watch Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I was like, okay. I didn't even get in past, like, what, the 2 minute, 4 minute mark? And it was just Mickey Rooney and Yellowface with the fucking fake teeth and the fucked up racist ass accent with the weird shitty eye makeup. And it's like, you. It's. Uh, it's like that was not necessary. Of all the, because I just turned off the movie. I have not watched any more of that movie. It was so unbearable and terrible. I was like, wow. Because anyone who posts about Breakfast at Tiffany's and says it's their absolute favorite movie, I'm looking at them funny. Because it's like, I get it, the fashion is really, really good, but what the fuck? I don't know about y'all. I'm not willing to overlook the most racist interpretation of an Asian person I've seen in a while. But that's just me, though. Also, it's a trope I noticed in other video games. I remember when I was like younger and 12, I was watching this video gameplay of the game Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is a game that some say it's good, some say it's shit for a lot of reasons. The way they deal with like sexual assault in that game is weird. But David Cage, the guy who made that game as well as Fahrenheit and all his other games, people have pointed out I think this dude just has a rape fetish, and I think he has a thing for specifically skinny, luscious women with nice tits and pixie cuts. He has a fetish for it. In almost every single game of his, he includes sexual assault on chicks with pixie cuts. And we can't even say, like, I don't know. At first, I was willing to dismiss, like, the first two instances as just like, oh, maybe this is just his really, really shitty way of trying to, like, show that this could happen to you anytime as a woman, you know? Like, you could just sadly constantly run into times where you will get the threat of sexual assault because the most sought after thing on this world is you, and they will seek to destroy you. But like like no, even in Heavy Rain, there's a game sequence where you can just have her stripped down to just a bra and panties before you like shake your ass in a dude's face and then hit him with a lamp. It's like, yeah, that was definitely put in just so that people could make it feel like the $50 to $70 game they bought was worth the money. But it's like we have porn at home and we don't need this rapey nasty bullshit. I don't appreciate when shit like that is put in media because just kind of it's like that's what people mean when they say like rape culture is a thing. Because why would you go, this chick is gonna get sexually assaulted at gunpoint, but let's make it sexy for the viewers so that they get eye candy. Like that's rapey. You know that, right? That's you're gonna give people rape fetishes. Ugh, but it's just like the shit that's put in media these days, it's weird. And then it's like in every single game, like he even gives you the option where if you don't do the quick time events, you can canonically get your character raped multiple times in multiple games. It's gross. It's like luckily it's not like on screen and drawn out, but still it's like Jesus. But that's just me being like just talking about the shit that's put in media that it's just like how did someone get away with this? Oh, but relevant because in one of his games, I believe it was Fahrenheit, he has a black character, and people pointed out that he's such a token black character because he does nothing for the central plot. Like, you could remove basically almost every single section of his gameplay, and it would not change the story whatsoever. And it's like, yeah, someone just was like, yeah, let's just fucking put in this comical, like, black token character. And they also designed him to look kind of racist. Like, they named him Tyrone, they made him have, like, the stereotypical big red lips, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I did think like, some aspects of his character were cool, though, but you gotta admit, they did the Chinese gong thing, but with this guy. That's also a thing I've noticed in certain movies. They'll be like, hey, look, it's a black guy. And then they'll just be like, bow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, bow, chicka, wow, wow. Will be in his, like, it'll just be like the sound that plays as the character is walking. And I remember I watched this gameplay when I was younger, and the fucking video game guy who was playing it, to his credit, he was one of the least fucking racist video gamers out at the time. And I wish I could find his channel again and thank him. But he was like, this is the most racist shit ever. They couldn't, like, all the other characters have the ominous violins and the do 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 do. And then with him, he just gets bound chicka wow wow chicka chicka wow. Oh, fuck that bitch now. It's like, and then they made him the dumbest character too. And it's like, and then they also had, yeah, fuck. It all comes together because also in that same video game, I remember they did have an Asian character. Guess what? The gong noise happened, if I recall correctly. But even worse, they have the Asian character in the game. They act like he can't speak, he can barely speak English, and he has the most thick racist accent ever. And then, if you play enough as the Tyrone character, eventually he'll say, haha, I'm just fucking with you. My name's David. I'm not even Asian. This is just really good makeup. And also, like, and he just talks with a totally normal Jersey accent. Just like, yeah, my name's, like, fucking David. I just run this shop. The act's just for the suckers. You could have the book for free since you're such a good sport. That was some wild. What the fuck, David Cage? What the. See, that's why Fahrenheit's one of his most forgotten about games. It was a very stupid game in a lot of reasons. Why am I tripping on the game Fahrenheit by David Cage cuz I remember when I watched the gameplay of it when I was a kid. I think PewDiePie or Jacksepticeye played it. Oh my fucking god. It was so stupid. Everything about that game was so stupid. Like, holy shit. Like, none of the endings made sense. The storyline, because it's like at first it seemed like it had a great story, and then it got too wooga wooga spiritual with it, but then in a way that didn't make, yeah, just no. Like, Beyond Two Souls did a much, much, much better job of what David Cage was going for in Fahrenheit, I just gotta say. But even then, they kind of pointed out that they had some racist Native American stereotypes, so yeah. Hmm. See, shit like this is why we say diversity is important. Like, in many ways. Also, funny enough, it'll be like a show called The Good Doctor. People have been like, oh my god, what an accurate representation to autism. No, it's a fucked up, stupid representation that makes him look like a fucking man baby who should have never been allowed to be a doctor in the first place. And he's transphobic as fucking terrible. Seems like the writers had an agenda where they were like, let's make the worst guy ever, like House MD. But then let's just say that he's the worst guy ever because of strictly his autism. Like, you could have just made him shitty. I don't know. But then people posted clips of the show of like other times they have made characters that actually seemed a lot more autism coded. But then like and so people were kind of like, isn't it funny how when the writers are trying to make an autistic character, they make the most fucked up stereotype available, but then when they aren't trying to make an autistic character, they nail it down to a T what having autism is really like. Like, they made this one girl character that had people in awe, like, holy fucking shit. You could write a character as good as her, and you went with this stupid motherfucker from Bates Hotel putting on such a crybaby act? And that's kind of what they do with black characters and Asian characters and most characters, because a lot of it all ties back to racism. They have to see us as the same or human first. They have to humanize us, but then people will just be like, "Ah, oh, wait, shit. I have to have the diversity quota in this game. So, here, let me make an Asian, like, it'll be like a video game and it's like, "All right, here, let me make an Asian character." And then let me make her just like extremely quiet. Like, her trait is that she's extremely, extremely quiet and doesn't talk. Because we don't want to write her lines or learn about her culture or anything. And let's make a black guy. And let's make him the biggest asshole imaginable. Or the goofy comic relief guy who conveniently dies 2 minutes into the movie. Because we didn't want to write his character and we like to rely on stereotypes for laughs. We want to paint a bad image of the guy. He's a black guy. You shouldn't trust those. Like, really? Jesus. And people are calling it out more these days, and I think it's important because people are kind of like tired of it. It's like, what's up with that? And if you're gonna be like, oh no, you want special treatment, no, it's just the same treatment as you. If you're gonna put it in a black cat, like, it's as simple as this. Here's a really nice challenge for you. Imagine the script you've already written or the movie you've already watched, and then imagine the race of one person was changed, and their race is not brought up whatsoever. It's not discussed. It's not like something that, like, it's not just some bullshit arc with them. It's like, hey, look, Like, yeah, and then just make them another race. And then you'd probably be like, this doesn't really change the story whatsoever. Exactly. That's how human beings are, just like you. There are people out there of other races who have conveniently, like, very interesting, unique, awesome lives. You don't have to be like J.K. Rowling and just be like, I'm gonna design an Asian character named Tofu McChinglingson, and I'm gonna make him everything Japanese ever, but I'm also gonna botch all of it, and he's gonna be really fucking annoying. It's like, yeah, you don't have to do that. Or you don't have to put on a damn near minstrel show to write a black person. Like, Jesus, it's not hard. Just go, I'm gonna make a character. Now, they could be Middle Eastern, or they could be black, and that's it. And also, Google exists, and if you are afraid that you're gonna botch this character, you could check in with Middle Eastern people who are actually like from whatever like area or region that you're trying to design for the character. Just don't botch the shit. Also, someone pointed out that in Bridgerton, like, they did a bunch of shit that was just like someone Googled a bunch of shit about if like I believe their characters are Indian, and they just kind of Googled a bunch of random shit about Indian people entirely. And then actual Indian people were like, hey, why are they doing this specific thing with this paste? That's not in our culture. That's for this region. And why are they doing this from this region and this, and they kind of pointed it out, and people were like, oh my god, stop being ungrateful. It's still representation. It's like, yeah, but it's shitty. It's shitty representation. Like, imagine you were a Japanese person and they said, here, look, we have a Japanese romantic interest. And then they brought in, like, shit that's popular only in Mongolia, or only in, like, fucking China, or in South Korea, or in North Korea, or only popular with Asian American people and their experience in San Francisco. Then you'd kind of be like, hey, this isn't really Japanese representation. How did this get greenlit? And if someone said that you were a dumb motherfucker, then you wouldn't appreciate it. Or if I gotta whitewash it even further for some motherfuckers to understand, imagine someone was like, hey, we wrote a fucking script about San Francisco, but then none of it's San Francisco. Like, it's just like someone tried to, like, was like, let's draft New York and add in some random shit that's popular in Philadelphia and some shit that's popular in, like, Oregon or Colorado. And then let's just toss in a few gay people, and then let's put in like a Detroit overlay. And then, yeah, that's totally San Francisco. People in San Francisco throw a fucking hissy fit. Like, nah, that's not us whatsoever. You didn't even try to research. I hate that fucking shit, dude. It just baffles me how people can, like, it just, some shit does not hold up well. Some shit I'm wondering how it even happened in the first place. At all, you know? Like, Jesus. And I just want people to do better, because lo and behold, like, whenever, like, that's why there's things like the sexy lamp test or the Bechdel test. And it was to show, like, hey, can you put, like, more than one woman in a movie? And then it's not like she's just someone who's there to look sexy and stroke someone's ego. Like, does she actually have a conversation with another woman at some point that's not about a man? And people acted like that was so difficult, but it's like, it really isn't. It could be like a 2 second scene where you, like, have one woman look at another woman in the movie and say, you got the bomb set? Ready. All right, let's go. And then your movie passes the Bechdel test. It's not fucking hard. But I believe they also have to have names too. They can't just be faceless. There's also the sexy lamp test. It's like, hey, does this character of a woman in your movie, like, can her plot line be entirely, like, removed? Or, like, if you just put in a lamp with a bra on it, like, and then removed all of her lines in the scene, would she be important? Like, to kind of show, like, hey, is that an actual representation of a woman, or are you just making an object to look sexy, and then, like, have no actual character development and not be there just to look fucking good? There's a difference. It's important. It just baffles me how, like, and yeah, that's why people have been calling it out more. But then guess what? The second they released that Ghostbusters movie that a lot of men did not like, I liked it personally. I thought it was quirky and cute. I enjoyed it. A lot of people did not enjoy it. But simply put, a lot of people's complaints were like, hey, why is Chris Hemsworth, like, they just made him so infantile and stupid and just like nothing but like gratuitous eye candy. Like, he's really stupid throughout the whole film. He doesn't really have anything to add. Like, he's just there as comic relief. It's like, oh, white men are suddenly triggered once they learned what every single fucking person of color or woman has been through in the movie industry. Because here's a character, it's like, why are you complaining? It's still representation. It's like, you got a fun, goofy character. You should be grateful, and he's hot. Oh, it's like, but no, they want to complain, like, hey, this isn't fucking fucked up. This is fucked up. He deserves better. He's a talented actor. It's like, yeah, so did every other fucking woman actress in the world who deserved fucking better, dude. Jesus. And it was just obscene. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Also, I've dated white guys, you know that. So sometimes I get a first hand look at how fucking stupid some people can be. I'm gonna be honest, some of y'all need to be. Well, I can't say that in this video, or else people are gonna be. I'm not gonna say the sentence I was gonna say. I'm gonna say some of y'all need to really, really, really get the clocks turning in here, because I get the feeling something's not oiled up, it's not moving. Like, Jesus Christ, some white dudes don't know about Emmett Till. Like, fuck. It's strange, it's surreal. Jesus, it's scary. Like, Jesus. Like, they'll look at you talking about Emmett Till like you're just telling a story, like you're just, like, making up some sort of lie that was just, like, conjured up by people on Tumblr. It's like, no, that was a thing taught in classes. It wasn't taught at your private school, but like, oh my god, I hate that specific ex, but let's not talk about him. But yeah, I remember my ex Liam, he rolled his fucking eyes when I said, like, oh, I love that the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, like, showcases, like, an Asian protagonist who's a woman and she's older. And he was like, why does that fucking matter? Why do you have to bring race and age into it? Oh my god. And it's like, it's important, and it was most likely done intentionally because, guess what? The whole plot of her movie is like, or one of the themes in her movie is like her wishing that she could do a lot more than what she actually got. Like, it's like, okay, like her, it's like a laundromat business, and like karaoke at the laundromat with a husband that she's kind of like not that into and doesn't really like that much anymore, and a daughter she's not proud of. She's thinking about, oh damn, I wish I could have done anything else in my life to be successful. And then she goes through those paths and she's like, you know what, no, I love my husband and I love my daughter and I want to keep them close to me and all that. Like, that's at least what I interpreted from the movie. There's other themes in that too, obviously, but still. Like, it was like a huge theme of acceptance, like accepting the life path she took and how it's the most pleasurable one she got, really. And especially above all, like, had it like, yeah, it's like a woman who has aged out of other perceived life paths and is not sure she likes the path she's got. But she actually does love it. It's like if someone made Click and was like, we need a less misogynistic, less creepy, like, film with representation. And then, like, a lot more awesome, cool, awesome shit happens. And it's amazing. It's a great movie. Watch it. But especially, I had to tell him, it's like, dude, usually you're used to Asian characters not having, like, really any good representation. Like, usually the most fucked up interpretations ever. Like, ever. Like, they don't give a fuck. And then, like, usually you're gonna have, like, writers who are white or just kind of make a mockery of Asian culture and make shit up. I remember I was in a writer's room. Not a writer's room. It was a scene reading class. And this old white dude, he brought in his script. Like, I will give him credit. It was for a kid's movie, but then he said something like, oh... Like, he read the script, and they all read it with, like, these fucked up ass accents. And he was like, this is for ancient Chinese ritual. Breakdance. And just some things he wrote, I was just like, ah... I was able to laugh at some of it, but other parts I was like, there's not a single Asian person helping write this script. He's just making up anything he can as he goes along, and it's very apparent. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I think he mixed up Yakuza and Triads, and I don't know. It's complex. It was like, this is a dude who's just bullshitting and hasn't really researched anything about the race of characters. He's just bullshitting. But, whatever. So it's like, yeah, I was like, yeah, Asian representation is important, especially like with old women. Like, older women have said since the dawn of time, like, that the second you're seen as too old and undesirable, suddenly you could be like 2 years older than like the person you're working with on a set who's like also a woman. Like, she could be like 22, you could be 24. Or actually, you could be 26, she could be 24, but then they'll be like, all right, you're the mother, you're the daughter. And it's like, huh. That's not cool. Or how suddenly it's like your career dies off. No longer are you like the sexy Bond girl or the sexy assassin. You're not gonna be Elektra or Natasha Romanoff. You're not gonna be cast as like, you're not gonna even get like the most pretty, highest paying token girl roles ever. Then you're just like, okay, you're gonna be someone's mom in like the world's shittiest teen movie now. Or you're gonna be some old ass lady in an unfunny movie, and you're gonna have like 6 seconds of screen time. Or like, yeah, you're just kind of cast aside. Like, that's why they made the movie The Substance, to kind of show that it's like, hey, once you hit a certain age, people just kind of don't see you as human anymore. They don't treat you worthy of respect or love or kindness. And when you're pretty, they do that for you based on the condition that they want you and desire you. So it's still malicious intent behind it. But yeah, they don't see women as human. if they start aging or being attractive. And it's like, that's weird because I've known some bad bitches who just like, really, like, really. So it's like, hey, look, it's important that it's like they made a movie where it's like a woman is the main character who's also Asian, who's also older. And they don't have her doing dumb shit. Like, she's not sitting in the back of some Chinese restaurant with like maybe 2 minutes of like comic relief based on like a fucked up racist interpretation of her own accent, and her pretending that she doesn't speak the language when she, and like all that shit. It's like, it's not like there's no gong noise. It's just like, hey, look, here's a character who just exists, and you hear her tale and you feel human, you enjoy her experience, you laugh, you cry, you sob, you feel angry, you feel happy, all that good shit, and you enjoy it. And that is a blessing, because it's like they don't usually do that with women characters in movies. And it's like, yeah, it's like she's not like the side character of a James Bond girl. She is her own little James Bond or whatever. She has to save the universe from collapsing and get the everything bagel or whatever. Crazy script, amazing movie. I love it. It was fucking awesome. It was a hilarious movie, and I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they made it how they made it, and it's all important, and I love it. And that's what I enjoy. Like, yeah, that's what it's like. That's what it's all about. You can make a story that features people of different genders or races, that isn't just a total clusterfuck of like racist bullshit, or like total like head assery. You can make actual good media. You just have to start seeing people like us as human first, and actually validating our experiences and like trying. Or sometimes the best thing you can do is not try. Like, how do I put this? Because, or hell, you could even just get people in the writer's room with you with those conditions. Then someone who's actually got autism can help make a script, or like show you how to make a character that has autism, that isn't just in your face like autism, autism, autism is their only thing. Like, nah, I've read some fucking manga and comics where they would show Sully that a character was autistic. It's like, okay, mild social cues missed in hilarious manners. Um, specific fixations had, and like maybe mild stimming or whatever, or hyper excitement or neutral faces and stuff. Funny enough, that's what people say. Like, they would make a character and design it to be artistic and be a huge clusterfuck, but on accident then they'd make like the cool suave spy guy who doesn't show any emotion but secretly feels a lot. And he has like, he always is eating like graham crackers, and he's always on his computer, but he's the smartest guy. And he, like, like L from Death Note. I don't think they were trying to make him autistic, but someone would probably be like, yeah, he reminds me of me in special ed class. It's like, yeah, he was a pretty good design character. I liked him. He was quite endearing to watch. Not everyone would agree with that though, but I'm just saying. Sometimes people make shit harder than it needs to be. Just go, I want to make a tight ass character, and then design it. And if you're like, is this offensive? Ask some autistic people or trans people or black people or all that, and they'll let you know. So, like, not all of us are monoliths, so we'll have different opinions. Like, some person could see your interpretation of a trans character and be like, offensive. Other people can be like, hey, that's funny and campy as hell, and we love that. It's up to, but use your own discernment, try your best, and yeah, just make us all human. That's what they are. That's also why, yeah, the movie Anora that came out, that was a pretty interesting movie, because that was kind of like, in a lot of movies they don't really like. I feel like it's kind of difficult to find movies that humanize sex workers. You usually see them like dead in movies, or like the most morally corrupt, or like pathetic. I like it when they actually show humanity to them. Like, this is their backstory, this is their life, this is what happens to them, and I enjoy it. Anyway, but I guess that's just like, and Honor was a good movie because it was like her fighting to be seen as not just a prostitute, but as like her husband's like legal wife, who's deserving of respect and deserving of the life she like got from him, and like joy and bliss. Anyway, and I feel like they did a pretty solid job with that. The movie has its mistakes. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. It was entertaining enough. Ugh, some parts way too long and drawn out. Maybe like this video. Sorry. I'm kidding. But still. Anyway, I feel bad like saying it on that weak ass point, because I don't fully like the movie Honora, but I will say they did a good job of making you heartbroken by the end. Like, oh, this was a girl who almost had it all. She almost had the big fancy mansion and the huge fucking ring and all the money, and she could have escaped her life in sex work and been happy. But no, at the end, She's got that random dude's dick inside of her, and she's sobbing and shaking and terrified for what can come next because her life got ruined. All because some shitty man who wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho was really just like the same as all the rest. Some misogynistic asshole who didn't see her as a person or human, just as a thing, and a replaceable object, a thing. And that's not what she is. And he could have just had her in that position before, but no, he wanted to like toy with her and force like more affections and humanity and personality and love out of her. And he got it, and but it still didn't change the fact that he still just saw her as some prostitute who he got to fuck for free after he got to keep her in his house and buy her a few diamond rings or whatever. It's really, really sad. I thought it was going to be a sweet Cinderella tale. It was not. But I'd say it was still a good, necessary movie. Because anyone who has common sense would be like, oh, this is the story of a sex worker trying to fight for a life that stops her from being dehumanized and hurt and abused and like at almost every step of the way. And she almost has that life, but it all falls apart. And I like that. And it's like really good representation. Like, you know, Roxy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I love that character design. I do. But it's like some movies and video games just kind of make sex workers as only that character design. Like, hey, look, some coked out whore who we wouldn't give a fuck about if she died. Like, they don't even treat her remotely human. I get it. She sucks dick for money and she does coke and crack and stuff. And she's a bit of a mess. But then they just kind of end the episode with, yeah, let's leave her dead in the hallway for someone else to find. Like, 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 I can still laugh at that episode. It's still one of my favorite, funniest fucking episodes, but I'm still like, that's still not cool, the implications, because there's a lot of people in real life who just would not give a fuck if sex workers die. They say they deserve it. They say they're sluts. They say that they're subhuman and disgusting and trash and all this. And it's like, no, it's just a lady who has sex and then like pays her bills that way through like looking sexy or being sexy or giving sex. That doesn't mean all she is sex. And even then, it's a job. It's not her entire state of being, usually. We treat them fucking human. So I guess I like Honora because it has its flaws, but it's still a movie where it's like this is a girl who got her power through sex and people hate her for it. And now they want to crush her like a fucking bug and she doesn't deserve it because the whole movie she's been consistently fucking sweet to like every single person. Even the bitch she fucking hates, she kisses on the mouth and wishes her fucking well. Like, really. She didn't deserve that ending. It's sad. Anyway, well, that's been enough of this video. Thank you for listening. I have more content that I have to upload, probably like 9 videos. Some of them are quite long. It's been a weird time for me, let's just say. So I've been trying to balance mental health and stuff. So bear with me. Peace out. Talk to you soon.